Stampers, this is Holly from rubberredneck.typepad.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Today I'm going to be demoing my October customer thank you gift. When you place an order starting today through my online Stampin' Up! Store until the end of October 31st, you will receive this completed card in the mail. Along with the card, I will also email you a mini PDF. For more details on how to get this card, please visit my blog, rubberredneck.typepad.com. The card uses the stamp set called Fall Fest out of our holiday catalog, and then I paired it with the Something to Say stamp set as well. To create this card, you're going to cut one piece of basic gray cardstock at 5.5 by 8.5. Then you're going to place it onto your Simply Scored scoring tool and score it at 4.25. Once it's scored, fold it over on the scored line. Take your bone folder to crease down your score line. Now you've created your card base. You want to cut one piece of Tangerine Tango cardstock, and you want to cut that at 4 inches by 5.25. You're going to run that through the Big Shot with the Tiny Triangles embossing folder to give it some texture. Then you're going to cut one piece of the Night All Designer Series paper in the basic gray Tangerine Tango pattern. You're going to cut that at 1 inch by 5.25. This paper is retired. There is some available to purchase in the clearance rack right now. Once you have that cut, you're going to glue this to the Tangerine Tango cardstock. And you're going to glue this on the left side. And sometimes when you run your cardstock through the Big Shot with the embossing folders, they will shrink it down just a little bit. So just trim off any excess you might have on the end. Then you want to cut one piece of Whisper Weight cardstock at 3 inches by 4 inches. Take the stamp from Fall Fest, ink it in Tangerine Tango, and stamp your pumpkins onto the bottom of the Whisper Weight. You want to leave about a 3/4 gap from the bottom. Then take the little face images from the Fall Fest stamp set, ink them in Memento Pad Tuxedo Black, and stamp onto your pumpkins. Take the stamp from Something to Say, ink it in the Memento Pad Tuxedo Black, and stamp on the top right corner. Once you have that stamped on, you're going to glue that to your Tangerine Tango cardstock. So just place that right on there, overlapping that Night All Designer paper. Then you want to cut one piece of basic black cardstock, and you're going to cut that at 1/2 inch by 4 inches. Once you have that cut, you're going to take your scallop edge border punch and punch that out. So just open your punch, these just slide on the back, line up your paper right on your punch, and I always pull it down so that it's not showing here on the end, and then punch, and then you'll just line up the scallops with the pattern on the punch, and punch again, and just keep doing that until you've punched the entire piece of basic black cardstock. Then you're going to glue this to your layers. And you just want to glue this across the bottom with the scallops facing down, and you're just going to go a little bit below your pumpkins. Then you want to cut about 23 inches of the Tangerine Tango Baker's Twine. You're going to place this on top of the layers on the left side and just hold it with your thumb. Then you're going to wrap it around the layers twice, and then once you have that wrapped around, you're going to tie the layers of the Tangerine Tango together. So I just wrap around one of the ends here, and then I tie them into a double knot. And then if you need to trim your tails, you can, or if you would like to leave that a little bit longer, you can do that as well. Then I just slide this around until the knot is sitting above the basic black cardstock. Then you want to glue your Tangerine Tango cardstock right to your basic gray card base. Just place that in the center. And then to finish off the front of the card, you want to take some rhinestone basic jewels and add them in here on the card. So I took one of the tiny ones, put it on here on the right side on that Tangerine Tango cardstock. I took one of the larger ones and placed it over here on the Night All designer paper. And then I took a medium-sized one and placed it down here on those basic black cardstock on the scallops. So that's what the front of the card will look like when you're done. Now to create the inside of the card, I kept the inside simple. You want to cut one piece of Tangerine Tango cardstock at 4 inches by 5 1/4. Run that through the Big Shot with the tiny triangles embossing folder to give it some texture. Cut one piece of Whisper White cardstock at 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Once you have that cut, then you're going to glue the Whisper White to the Tangerine Tango. I love the Tangerine Tango cardstock for Halloween and for fall. The color is just perfect, I think. Then you're going to glue this to the inside of your basic gray card. And then once you have that glued on to the inside, then the card is complete. Be sure to visit my blog, rubberredneck.typepad.com, to find out how you can get this card in the mail to you. And that completes the tutorial. Thank you for watching.